Welcome back to another edition of Down and Back with CornDoug. This time, we're going to go through, we're going to talk with Trey Ryder on the show here. We're going to try and get right into it right as soon as we can here. Trey Ryder on the show. We're going to talk some ACL stuff. We're going to talk some Cornhole Mania stuff. A little later on the show, we're going to start talking about our conference event that we have coming up here. It's going to be a full couple of weeks of cornhole coming up, and it's going to be some fun. So, like I said, we'll get right into it. We got Trey Ryder here. Trey, welcome back to the Down and Back of CornDoug again for the second time.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me and being I don't know if it's smart or dumb enough to have me back here.
Well, hey, you know what? It's you're now in company with Timothy Pitcher being 2 times on the show, so it's good company to be with.
Yeah, I was gonna say at least I got good company, so that's great.
Yeah. So jumping right into things here, we've got there's been a bunch of stuff happening in the ACL with bag stuff happening because we kind of talked off air a bit how it's just the bag situation has just gone nuts. I think it's cheaper to buy gold than it is to buy some of these bags.
Yeah, you're right. It has been chaos in the bag community for sure. And when we created the bring your own bag policy, we knew that it would have these type of fluctuations that we're seeing right now. And one thing that I've just been telling some people that have been concerned, I said, this is a phase. This is the market trying to figure itself out for now. There's going to be ups and downs and left and right. So there's going to be bags for everybody. There's going to be bags in high demand. There's going to be bags that fall off in the market. It's going to be it's going to have a little bit of chaos here for a little bit, but like I said, it'll even itself out. But one thing I want to reiterate with the market, having that intact and having it having a lot of different manufacturers and having a select few of those manufacturers, whether or not they're ACL approved or not, just having them being sponsors of some of our ACL events, whether it be conference events or having our national events, having that variety for now, whether it be that forever and for indefinite amount of time, I think it's good for the sport. I think having some options for players and having different players be sponsored by specific bags, I think that's super important. And I really think it's important, as we see this entire sport grow. Just like you see in golf, you're going to have, Nike's going to sell, golf clubs that are, $300 a club. And sometimes it's, they're going to be much more expensive than, say, like a Top Flight driver or something like that. There's going to be fluctuations, and the market is going to level itself out. I don't see cornhole bags ever getting to the point where they're $300 a bag, but I think having this competitive market is a good thing. And some of the contributing factors to the price of bags, some of them are good, some of them are bad, but we're kind of learning just with everybody else that this bag market can fluctuate a good bit, and we're kind of learning kind of how to handle that. And so I think there's still some things to be learned, and what I just tell people is just to have some patience. It's going to work itself out. No need to get too crazy right now.
Yeah. So then you spoke about the bag approval. The approved bags for the ACL. So seeing a bunch of that stuff when I go around too with some of the other new bag companies coming out. So with seeing something, I've seen some stuff with them saying, our bags are going to be approved here very shortly. So what's the process for people that aren't sure what the bag approval process is?
Yeah, so we only do one bag approval, not one bag. We only do one round of approvals, and that's at the very beginning of the year. Part of the reason for that is we don't want, different advantages or disadvantages. We don't want it to change too much from year to year. We like things to stay a complete season with the certain set of bags that we have. We found that when we used to do approvals during the year, it really confused a lot of people and added a lot of just really just general confusion to the bag policy. So what we've done is we've said we approve, a set number of bag vendors per year at the very beginning of the season. So what some people have found out, and what they can do sometimes is, if they are really antsy to submit bags, they'll submit them to us very early in the process. And if some people are doing it now, the reason they just want to see if their bags are good enough and they get that pre-approval. So, if someone gets pre-approved, it just means that they are looking good. The specs are all met by the current bag policy. Now, the one thing that we don't want to do for sure is say these bags are 100% approved for the 2020-2021 season. And the reason for that is because we're constantly looking at our bag policy. We're constantly seeing, is everything on this policy exactly what we want? Does it all make sense? Are there any tweaks that we need to make? Because we do want the bring your own bag policy to really introduce so much diversity in bags across the market, but we don't want to do anything to the game that can hurt the game in the form of damaging equipment, can do things that provide a truly unfair advantage to some players. I know some would argue, oh, this bag, it just goes in the hole every time. This is an unfair advantage. It's that's not the case. But so we're constantly kind of evaluating our process and make tweaks. So when it becomes time, we'll open our bag policy for true submissions once we've released our bag policy for the following season. That's going to happen at the end of spring, beginning of summer. I don't have an exact date for you at the time. And once that happens, people review the policy, then they submit bags for approval, and then we let you know if they're approved for the next season of play.
Yeah, but I think that their explanation just really straightens out, because I've seen so much stuff online where people were like, "Yeah, it's going to be approved here soon, but it's we're going to be able to use it." But no, you got to wait till September to use any new bags.
Correct. Yep. New season.
Yeah. So then the next thing is, for talking about new stuff, is the new I don't know if it's a scoring system, but just a new program that the ACL is using for the bag tracker and that.
Yeah, so the great thing about the ACL that is really revolutionary, that I don't think a lot of people understand how vital it is that with the ACL's own in-house software and our own development, we can really do things that push the sport forward, that we believe are the most progressive ideas. And so with our ACL software, obviously we've had the ability for a long time for the ability to, build tournaments, keep standings. Everything's automated. Everything's all built in. Directors just have to go in, enter the information, and that's that. Over the past 6 months, we've realized that, or I really should say the past 6 months, for a while now, but really we've been pushing it the past 6 months, is the idea that we want to accomplish two things. We want to, one, become a legitimate sport that is played by everybody and watched by everybody. And number two is, work towards the ability to establish gambling lines on the sport. First, with legitimizing to be a sport, you need to have statistics. Every sport that you watch on TV, there are statistics that accompany it, and just points is not going to be good enough. Knowing that someone beat someone 21-5 is not going to be good enough to be a legitimate sport. On the other point I made, for gambling lines could add so much money into this sport and could bring so much potential to the sport and to the game. In order to get those established, there have to be in-depth level stats. We've talked to different organizations about what it's going to take to get there. We're developing these stat lines based on those answers. And so these statistics that we've built are really going to help establish those lines in the future in order to take this sport to another level. So this new bag tracker that we're using is essentially it gives an opportunity for players, and we're just using it in the pro division this season. It's going to give pros the opportunity to track every single bag that they throw throughout a game. So at the end of every round, they have to mark how many bags in and how many bags on that they scored. That will automatically compute the score for the round. And as they proceed to the next round, what that does is it automatically generates a URL, a link. And that link keeps a stat and graphs the entire the entire game round by round. It's going to give you in the whole average. It's going to give you scoring percentage, total bags in, total bags on. It's going to plot the scoring from round to round, and it's also going to plot the differential per round. So it's really cool statistical information that's going to be available that we're going to be able to show for every single game. So, one comment that I saw on social media said, this is great because you hear so often how many times people say, oh man, I averaged 3 bags in the hole that entire game and I lost.
Yep.
Well, now we can say, all right, let's go look at it. And we pull up that link and we say, oh, what do you know? They averaged a 10.2 average round score. That's incredible. This person averaged 10.3. That's just ridiculous. So it really is an awesome tool that we're really excited to be using kind of as we make our way through this year. So with that, we've also built the ACL Score Zone, which is another link that'll be generated when directors are using tablets. So we've introduced these tablets that keeps all that scoring automated. And with those tablets, as the scores progress, that ACL Score Zone then becomes this one big hub of all the games going on at once. It has all of those scores. They live update. In future versions, you're going to be able to click on those individual games, and boom, it's going to pop up with that stat page that I just talked about. So there's a lot of cool things coming. We have a lot of technology being poured into this right now, a lot of effort into that in order to legitimize the sport of cornhole as much as we can.
Yeah, the use of the tablets has really helped us with our games here. It's now just Matt as a local director. It's just put up the laptop, the tablets, and everything kind of just flows itself. It's so easy to do now.
Yeah, it's been an incredible upgrade for us. It's actually reduced our times of some of our events, which you don't think it would that often, but when you have 400 players and you're having to wait between that time the game ends to when that person walks all the way over to the director's table, tells the director inputs the information, then they have to call out the new game. Here, it's so quick and it's so rapid fire. As soon as you hit that game over button on the tablet, it's immediately storing that game score. It's sending it to the bracket. The bracket is pulling the next available game, pulling it up on the tablet, and it's sending a text message to those players that are up next to get onto that board,
Yep.
all within an instant, all within a couple seconds. Something that may have taken 2 minutes, it's not that long, maybe even a minute and a half. It's completely eliminating that step. And when you do that, 100 times during a tournament, that can really add up as far as timing goes.
Yeah, even I was talking with Sean Sabine from our newest area in Canada here, up in St. John's, Newfoundland. They had their league night the other night, and they tried for the first time doing the different partner one. And so it's almost like doing just a straight line draw. It was just the switch partner one, and he said that the people that he had there loved it, and it cut off. It cut down by their time by like half an hour. So instead of being there from 7 to 10:30, they were there playing from like 7 to 10, and they had like 30 people, and everyone just loved that gameplay.
Yeah, that's another thing. It's still kind of in beta, so we're still kind of working through some kinks there. But obviously the new technology coming with that has also been new formats. So forever, cornhole has just been double elimination tournaments, and so it's not that we are looking to say that those aren't good. But anytime you can incorporate different formats to bring more people in the game, especially at the local level, it can only be good for the sport. So just offering different options to different directors, and who knows, maybe one day we find a way to incorporate these good formats into our national events, to give all players the best experience possible while still trying to find the best player among the field.
Even for us, like our league night here, we'll get like between 20 to 26 people out, and we're doing 6 games in a round robin with different partners, and then just a single elimination at the end for the top 16, and we're still there for like 3 hours. It's just you're getting your games in, and you're not there for like an expansive amount of time.
Yeah, that's cool about that's what's cool about these formats is like one thing that people don't, it's hard for them to grasp is that, for example, when we go to Cleveland, we're going to have about 160 sets of boards. And when the tournaments kick off, all of those boards are going to be filled. But 2 hours into the tournament, people are going to be looking around saying, "Hey, we could have brought more people in here because all these boards are open." But with a double elimination tournament, so many people are eliminated within the first 45 minutes that it opens so many courts. And so people only get to play a few games if you're not utilizing every single board, which really, if you ran like a round robin with the same amount of players, you could get done in exactly the same amount of time and everybody could get 4 or 5 games in.
Yeah.
So it's, that's one thing that is tough for a new player to understand, but that rounders, the ACL rounders, which is our round robin, as well as the ACL swap, is a great opportunity if your number one goal is to get as many games in as you can for each individual player. Whereas the double elimination bracket is really probably the purest way to determine and rank everybody 1 through whatever as far as their skill level goes.
Well, and then that's what Sean said to me about his group the other night was that they're usually just playing double elimination blind draw. So some people only getting 2 games. Where now last night for the same amount of money coming in, they're getting 4, they're getting 5 games. They're playing more. They're meeting other new people that are there, and it's more enjoyable.
Yeah, and we're seeing that from a lot of directors across the country.
So you mentioned a bit about Cleveland, so we'll have to get into that. All I can say is it's like a psycho circus there that Monday morning, just watching, we're full. Everything is just wow. Like I was joking. I made the decision about 7:58 that Monday morning to actually to get into those tournaments. I was going to wait till the afternoon. I was like, I'll have time, but I guess now I'm kind of glad that I did enter what I did, because all of a sudden it's like, damn, it's done.
Yeah, it was 100 minutes is all it took, and it's obviously the fastest sellout that we've ever had for our biggest event ever. I think I crunched the numbers yesterday, and we had 1,062 unique players signed up for Cleveland. Payouts are looking $80,000 plus right now based on the percentages. It's outrageous. And so really what we kind of realized is we got a hot product right now. And so we're super excited. I can't wait for this event. It'll be the biggest event that we ever put on. I think the new technology that I just talked about is really going to help a tournament of this size go as fast and as smooth as possible. But with that, I think it opens our eyes that, we still have to push the boundary of innovation. And that's going to be a great problem for us to discuss in the off season and leading up to the off season is, what do we do next year? Because we can't really do much about this year and selling out. The rest of our events are kind of going to have to follow a similar pattern of kind of people got to register when it opens, and that it is what it is. Yeah. So unfortunately, that is going to leave some people out this season, but we need to remain consistent with our format, at least for this season. It's what's in the player's guide. It's what's fair. We don't want to blindside anybody with any major rule changes in the middle of the year. But on the flip side, it is a problem that we'll have to address in the offseason. Whether we go to a qualifier tight in order to go to a national, or we do something along the lines of allowing a lot of people and doing some type of round robin to really knock down the field, and trying to utilize a lot of different games being played. And after that round robin, we really narrow it down to a select group of people to compete for a championship type thing.
Mhm.
So there's a lot of things to think about. But Cleveland, yes, of course, we are so excited. The response has been incredible. We can't wait to get up there, and can't wait to put on this biggest event ever. And we're prepared. We're ready. And I think it's going to be an incredible event for the players.
Yeah, I know for myself, this is my first time at a big event since being down in Cherokee in 2018. So I'm excited to go. We've got actually, I'm going to say 3 to 4 new players that have never been to a big event like that. So they're coming in. They just want to have that. I think they know they're going to get waxed like we probably will, but just that ability to play with better people, see the better players play in person.
Yeah, what's crazy is that event that you went to in Cherokee, this one's almost going to be double the size.
Yeah.
In both players and in space.
Mm-hmm.
So it is truly it's going to be incredible. It's going to be an incredible event, and the people that you're bringing along, they're going to be shell-shocked when they walk into that event for the first time. So it's going to be a great time.
Yeah, there's one guy that's only been playing for a couple of months, so he's really kind of walking into the hornet's nest of cornhole.
Yeah.
So then, so that being said, so talking about it, who did you see from Fort Lauderdale, the Kickoff Battle, who may be stepping up in Cleveland here?
Yeah, so I think you kind of alluded to it, but one thing I've kind of been talking about is I like to study the history because history I think is a great predictor of the future. And so if you look back at 2019, in pro doubles, 3 out of the 4 teams that made it to the 14 playoff made it to another broadcast later in the year. 3 out of the 4 people that made it into the advanced singles Final Four at the Kickoff Battle in 2019 made it to another Final Four, and 3 of them won a singles title at a national. So, and the women's doubles champion at the first national won it the second and third national. So what I'm getting at here is I think the first national of the season this year, if history doesn't betray us, is going to be a very good indication of what we're going to see here at the Cornhole Mania and possibly even for the bag brawl and so on. So when I look, I've just been kind of diving into my preview now, but I think for singles, you really got to look at the top 2, Jamie Graham and Ryan Windsor. I really think they elevated themselves to a level above everybody else. There may have been a ton of people that competed that day and maybe had a shot, but I thought those 2 kind of were on a different level, on a different tier in comparison to everybody else. You got to look for them. Some of the players that came up just a little bit short, even some of the players we had 4 double dips in singles. 4. Mm-hmm. All 4 brackets were double dips. So some of those players that lost in the double dips, you got Ryan Smith, you got Damon Dennis, Devin Harbaugh. All of these, Josh Gross was the other one. All 4 of those players are top-level players that maybe it was just a case of they sat down too long.
Yeah.
If they can find a way to get that rhythm back, we could have seen any one of them in the Final Four and could have seen them win. So I look for there's a handful of players that I really think are going to make a run in singles. We're looking over into doubles again. Dalton and Kyle, McClellan Malone. Obviously, they won this first event this year. Last year, they fell off immediately after they won advanced doubles back last year. So I think the question mark is going to be, do I see that same thing happen again, or can they kind of flip that switch? I really think Dennis and Hayden are going to be another tough team. Obviously Windsor and Herrera, as well as Graham and Maudlin, will be tough. Camba and Baldwin, Jordan Camba, James Baldwin were a team that were, just a couple points away twice in back-to-back games. They got double-dipped from advancing to their final. AJ Sims, Josh Gross are a team that I think they underperformed, but they were in a tough bracket. So I think they come out and have a better performance here at the next event. And then I expected a little bit more from Corwin and Harbaugh. I think they're a tough team as well. But there's so many good ones. I could name 15 different teams and maybe not a single one of them make it. So it's anybody's game. And then I think everybody's going to kind of be in the same boat. Really, I think the two teams to beat for women's doubles are going to be Christine Packey and Megan Maupin against Cheyenne Renner and Sam Finley. People are going to be looking for a rematch between those two teams in the finals. If another team is going to kind of step in and kind of steal that thunder, I think the best chance is probably going to go to Courtney Coy and Allison Hine, another pro team. They had, by their standards, not a great performance in Florida. They started off really slow. So I think as they've developed that chemistry, now they have a tournament under their belts, I expect them to kind of put on a better performance here in Cleveland.
Yeah, so it's because I was watching the live feeds there, and I'm like, there was a couple games come up, and it's like, this isn't the winner's bracket game because there was so many good players that were down, and it was just but then it still made, there was a lot of great games with a lot of great throws, and it was just like, wow, just being able to watch it, because we were trying to get some of our new players to watch it. It's like, watch how these guys play. Just watch. It's not just they bring so much more to the game. Yeah,
you can learn a lot by watching and then trying to adopt what you see. So there's an element to film study. I mean, there's I watch a lot of cornhole, so I pick up on a lot of things, and I'll see something and say to myself, oh, I haven't seen that before, and and then I try to put that over a few different games and see if I pick up on the same tendencies. And so just learning some strategy and learning what's hard for a lot of people to grasp is sometimes you don't have to throw a 4-bagger to win the game. You can, if you score every round, whether you're scoring with an 8 or a 12, you'll win the game. So I think that's something for a lot of young players and newer players to understand, is that all you got to do is score.
Yeah, and for some of our players here, it's like they're like airmail all the time, but it's like you don't need that to, you got to have more to your game than just that. If you watch these guys, it's just there's a little bit more finesse to the game.
Yeah, absolutely. Even the introduction of this new flop roll shot that people have been doing. I think that's been a really cool addition to the game and a new shot for players to put in their arsenal.
Yeah, I kind of get that shot every once in a while, but it's kind of a fluke. I wasn't trying to do it. So it's and for our guys going down, we're not in the advanced or the top. We're kind of in the competitive intermediate. We've got I think we've got 10 people going down. So we've got Matt Plow, who's been down before. He's going to be playing with Scott Sullivan, who was on the WCO invitational broadcast there that you had on. Jamie Cowan's going to have his regular partner, Steve Pohl, for their double. So they're both in the competitive. We've got another new player, Phil Tavares, who's going down. He's been throwing lights out here. He actually just moved up to our advanced that we have here, but he'll be playing competitive down there. He'll be playing intermediate down there. He'll be with Paul Marshall, and then myself. I'm going to be with a new partner. My regular partner can't make it, so I'm going to be having Joe Oliveira, who's just a couple months in, and he's pumped and he's ready to start playing down there. So I think we've got a good shot at the groups that we're in. of advancing. I don't think we're going to be winning anything down there, but it's just getting that experience and playing the better players.
Yeah, and that's the key, is just getting that experience. You said it. It's just once you see it and you say to yourself, oh, this is what I have to do in order to win. This is what I have to do in order to compete. And once you understand that, I think that's what really makes players successful and kind of helps people get to that next level. It's just an understanding of what it takes to succeed. But you guys got a conference event coming up, right? I mean, some of those names are going to be some of the top players, I'm assuming.
Yeah, so we've got a conference event coming up here tomorrow here. And we're going to be the first time outside of our area in Peterborough to have a conference event. So we've got a lot of new players. And so our advanced division up here is, I don't want to say stagnant, but we're starting to kind of just have the same people until we can get some new people in to get up. So we've got Jamie Cowan's going to have his regular partner, Steve Pohl, there. They finished kind of near the top at our last regional that we had. And then if anyone's familiar with the show here, you'll hear me talk about Jeff Shantz and Scott Sullivan being partners. They ran into a little bit of a roadblock in PJ Sorrow and Mike Ferreira at our last regional here. So they're looking to really rebound because they weren't even in the top three. I think they were like fourth or fifth. So they're looking to rebound here in this conference event to get back on top. Myself, my partner, and Corey Goldbeck and I, we're trying to get back. We were there, but just I don't want to say life circumstances, but all the other stuff outside of cornhole kind of gets in the way in the winter months here. So we're just trying to get back in the advanced, try and get back up on there. Matt Plow is going to have Paul Marshall as a partner for the advanced. So that's kind of where our advanced group is. Our biggest thing right now is our competitive group here. It's one that for closeness and who could be there, I'm going to put it to almost like the pro division. Like we've probably got 20 people that can win any one of them can win the competitive division. We've got out of Peterborough that's going to be the host there. We've got Adam Hubbard and Brian St. John, who are both great throwers in the competitive division. They're actually, I'm not sure if Adam must be saying this, but they're actually going to be stepping up to the advanced for this tournament in doubles play to see just how they would fare out in the advanced. So we've got them there. We've got Johnny Parsons from Peterborough that would be there. Mike Ochar, who's another great thrower there. And they've all only been throwing competitively for, I'm going to say, 2 or 3 months now. So they're kind of getting into it. Like Brian St. Thomas, the regional here, our last regional was his first ever tournament. And he came back to the losers bracket and almost pulled out the win over Rick Wiersma, who's from Dundas, who will be, I believe Rick will be there too. So he's another great thrower. Like it's just, there's great throwers after great throwers in the competitive that are just ready to make that step up into the advanced that you're going to be hearing from coming out of Canada here soon. So the other ones from in the competitive are you got Rick Wiersma, we've got Russ Fisher out of Dundas, we've got Peter Lamanto out of Dundas, his son Braden, great thrower, and then you've got our guys that are going down there, being Terry McDougall, who's been just on fire here. There's Phil Tavares, who's going to be trying to make the step up. I'm not sure if he's making it out this weekend. There's Mark Larcher, who's going to go down. Joe Oliveira, who's making that. He's, like I said, he's only been a couple months. He's going to be my partner in Cleveland, but he's making that step up. There's just so many people that were ready, that are just, I think they just need 1 or 2 more tournaments under their belts, and they can make that step up. And our advance is going to be so much better. And then even for our women, we've got Annette Burgess out of Kitchener here. I'm not sure if she's going to make it. She's got some other stuff going on too, but she's been throwing great. We got a couple of young women out of Dundas, Kristen Platt and Taylor Wiersma, who I think will probably make some noise here within the next year and a half, 2 years. Just in Canada here, we'll still be a little ripple when we go down to visit you guys, but they're going to be like a big hit. It's just, there's so many people that are just growing and getting better because these leagues have all just branched off within the last few months. we've grown. We've got St. John's, who none of their guys are going to be coming down for the this tournament here, but there's Sean Sabine. Their names just kind of escape me because I've only been seeing their names for a couple weeks here, but they're actually getting ready to have their first tournament the weekend of Cornhole Mania down in St. John's, and Sean is just pumped. He's like, tell the ACL to bring an event down to St. John's because it's just a big party town. But I said, let's pump the brakes a bit. Let's get this league underway and going and getting some more people there. But we've just grown so much. Like our last conference event, I think we had almost 80 people there, which is, a step up from our 40 we had before that. And our last regional, we had probably another 60 people there. So we're looking at making that step up. We're getting a little better, a little bigger, and hopefully we'll start to kind of be like you guys soon.
I mean, well, first of all, people talk about my memory, your memory, incredible. For you to just spit off all those names, that was impressive. But I think what you alluded to is just exactly how every other region starts. Is you develop a top level base immediately, but then you're kind of farming in those competitive and intermediate level players. And it's really from those is where you're going to get your really big superstars. So you treat it like you guys are super far off from what's down here in the States. But I'm telling you, if you just continue to work and practice, before you know it, there's going to be people at that top level that are going to be able to compete with some of the best players in the States. And I say that because I've seen it 100 times. I've seen it. It doesn't happen all the time, but there's, it's a good chance you're going to get someone that plays for 4 or 5 months, and all of a sudden they just start beating up on everybody, and then everybody gets behind that one person when they go down to these big tournaments, and they just put on a show, and you're just fired up to see them compete. But you guys got a great thing going. I know you're probably jacked up for your conference event.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think you guys are on a great track, and you got a lot of room to grow.
Well, our guys, like because I end up messaging all of our groups each night after say, how was your night last night? How was your night last night? And the thing that I really like about it is they think, oh, well, we're still not there, but it's like you're getting 25 to 30 people out every week to play, and it's like, man, if we could start out in our league with like 30 people out each week, I would have,
Yeah.
I was talking with Adam in Peterborough. I noticed that they were getting ready for a big snowstorm that we're having, and he said, it was canceled. But then the weather kind of switched a bit, and at 4 o'clock, 4:30, 5 o'clock, so between 4 and 5, he put out another message saying, Mother Nature's kind of being nice to us. A couple of us are going to throw. If you want to come and throw, we'll have just a small little kind of mini double elimination tournament. Well, 30 people show up. Right, so
yeah.
it's it's that, and in St. John's they're having 30 people out regular night, and they had never had any kind of league or anything like that there before. So so we're getting the numbers. It's just bringing people in. Our other hard thing too is that people are saying, "Oh, we're just starting out. We're not good enough to be in a tournament." Yeah, you are. We've got a lowest division. We're going to the lowest division of a novice right up to our advanced. So there's space for you to play.
Yep, you said it best. There's room for anybody. Anybody can play, and anybody can win.
And we've seen that because when we joke about it. Our league night this past Monday night, we got Jamie Cowan, who was averaging, I believe he was averaging like 20 points a game, going in his doubles, whatever doubles partner he has. He's averaging, so he's winning almost every game. But then Monday night he goes 1-5, and he's not even close, right? And it was like, oh, so it's those people. And then like I mentioned the Terry McDougall, he ended up winning the night. So it's it's such a you just gotta throw the bags.
Yeah, you gotta throw. You can't take anybody for granted.
No, and that's the fun part of it. It's like all of a sudden it's just something clicks and you're gone. You just have to get that hot hand at the right time.
Yep, I'm a believer in who's hot stays hot. I say it all the time, and I'll continue to say it. It's a very streaky sport, and but that's for the good and the bad. Mostly for the good, though.
Yep. So I want to thank you for coming on, doing this here. I know I'm going to see you in a couple weeks. I'm going to be bugging you to maybe even do a live shot down there, down in Cleveland. But it's going to be great to see you and even the rest of the people that I've met, not just through this show, but even before. It's just like I'm told to people that once you're down there and you talk to people, and even some of the other people that have podcasts here too, we've been kind of talking back and forth. And they say, how do you get these people on the show? And it's like, until you go to a big event and meet some of these people, they're just regular people. They'll talk any time about cornhole, and that's the great thing about it.
It is. That's what's great, and I look forward to seeing you down there, and we'll have to chat for a minute. And I know you're going to be bringing a whole bunch of excited players, and I hope it's everything that they dreamed of.
Oh, I think it will be so. So hopefully seeing you, like I said, seeing you again in a couple of weeks, and thanks again for doing this.
Yeah, thanks, Doug. I appreciate coming on for the second time.
Okay, thank you. Trey Ryder there, another great guy. My hole shots here, I think my hole shots are all done up. It was all about stuff that's going on in the ACL, and Trey was able to talk about that. So the hole shots are talked about. You've already seen it. Going on to our 100 subscriber contest, that's still on. We're slowly but surely getting there. I think we're almost about just 20 away from it. So if you like the show, hit the subscribe, hit the like button, leave a comment. Just to keep this going. And if you happen to see, I'll be wearing this shirt here, this Octane shirt down in Cleveland. If you see it down there, stop me, talk to me, say, hey, watch the show. You can tell me if you don't like it. You can tell me if you like it. Doesn't matter to me. If you've just had eyes on it, that's all that matters. Just check us out, because like I said, there's a bunch of podcasts going on. I know we may be doing a little. I know some of the other podcasts are doing something, and I may try and sneak into some of those and see. So yeah, just keep watching the show. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, and once we get to 100, we'll do the draw for the 4 Octane bags. And I also want to give out a shout out. I don't know if you've been watching Sato Soto. Like I said, the ACL pros are the best people around. Sato Soto's been doing his cancer fundraiser. He did a mystery box raffle. And I was talking to the guys last night. I watched the SOAS baggers. They won Sato's box. They opened it up, and there was a nice set of Octane Nitros, a nice blue set of Octane Nitros in there. They said they were going to try them out last night or the other night in their when they were playing. I hope they liked them. They're a great bag. They're a fast bag. So if you got humid boards, throw those Nitros. They're great. But I got to check in with them to see how they like them. But just to show it to SOAS baggers, giving some money to Sato Soto for his cancer fundraiser. That being said, if you are going to Cleveland, if you're getting there a night early, Thursday night, check out Sato Soto on Facebook. He's having his Cancer Sucks fundraiser. Like I said, a great cause. Go out, have some fun. I'm not sure what the cost is getting the tournament, but he's having a couple different tournaments. But go in, check him out. Like I said, great cause, and it's all for fun. Right before, get some practice in for a tournament. Right before we start off with the Crew Cup, 9 a.m. Friday morning, which is going to be fun after a 6 or 8 hour ride on the Thursday night get in there to get into the Crew Cup. But hey, we're going to have some fun in Cleveland there for a little bit of a mini break and just have some fun throwing bags. So again, as always, keep having fun, keep throwing those bags. And actually, one more last thing. If you didn't see it scrolling across, you can now catch older episodes of the Down and Back with CornDoug, the audio versions on iTunes. Search for the Down and Back with CornDoug on iTunes. Download some of the older episodes. You can have a listen to them and kind of maybe put yourself to sleep. I don't know, whatever you want to do. But you can check them out there. So like I said, keep having fun, keep throwing those bags, and we'll catch you next week. with another show of the Down and Back with CornDoug presented by Octane Cornhole.